The man who saved this football club, the man who came to our help when we needed it the most, the man who took on the burden that is Sheffield Wednesday and steadied the ship. Milan Mandaric, you'll be missed by so many people around the world, especially connected with this such a magnificent football club. Rest in peace, Milan Mandaric.
Found the net. Goal for Wednesday.
Terrific goal by Taylor.
Chris Waddle, is he going to have a crack?
Oh, he does, and he scores. Still Glenn Wheeler. Aidan Wednesday.
Is there time for a winner?
Hello, welcome to Wednesday Till I Die podcast. I'm James Mappin. Back this week is Mr. Matt Johnson. Matt, I bet you're glad you watched the Ryder Cup in the end last week with the way that they won in such dramatic circumstances. Eric, just a cover-up, was it?
James, I'll be honest with you, I addressed this on the Instagram story. I'll be making no further comment at this point in time. I'll be honest with you. I was on a course on Monday. I've had a whole palaver with the car as well this week. Ear infection all week, as you can see. I've still not got a headphone plugged into my left ear because it's still fogged. I felt really sorry for the poor girl who was stood next to me at Birmingham City for a multitude of reasons, but she turned around midway through the second half and said something to me. I could see full well, lips moving, not a fucking clue what she said. I said, I'm really sorry. I'm not deaf. I'm not trying to be an idiot here. I've got an ear infection. I'm really sorry.
Did you just do this sign language?
It was any time, mate. She was turning around having a conversation to me. I was doing a full what?
Oh,
yeah. But yeah, I mean, well done, Europe. Yeah, I mean, nearly managed to fuck it up, but yeah.
I mean, I weren't really paying much attention. Obviously, we were giving you some hammer last week. Not going to lie.
Good. Good. I'd expect nothing less.
And I'd not seen any of it at all, like kind of on the Sunday. And then when we finished, I put it on. I thought, bloody hell, we've nearly lost it here. Like, what's happened here? I'm like saying, no, you don't even need to watch it, Matt. We're going to win quite easily. And then, I mean, there were some comments and like, oh, they're throwing it away. I thought they were joking, but anyway. Matt, first absolute hammering of the season. No surprise that it came against a side that's was second in the league, now top, averaging 3 goals a game. Is it really?
No, absolutely not. This is, in my opinion, the best side that I've seen this season. Not just against us, but any side that I've watched in the division this year. And I do watch quite obviously a lot of Championship football. It gives me zero pleasure to say that. I will be completely honest. I've not got much love for Coventry City in its recent iteration. It's more so the fans. It's more so the way in which that fans have acted towards kind of the football club in recent years and trying to spark a rivalry with everybody. There is a lot of admiration there, I think, historically for Coventry because of the situation that they've been through. I think also, again, they've got one of the most underrated anthems in the EFL. Anybody who was left at the end of the game would have heard it at Hillsborough on yesterday. But yeah, that is some team. That is some team. And anyone who finishes above them this year, they will be going up automatically. Coventry are a fantastic side this year.
Can I just say as well, the noise coming from the away end, again, pains me to say it, but the noise coming from the away end was fantastic. When they were booming them songs out, you looked over and you just thought, wow. Do you know what I mean? Like that, I wish kind of that was us, and maybe we're going to get there at some point. It's weird because obviously when you go to a away game, you are in the away end. You are in it. Do you know what I mean? And it sounds, you could have 200 people and it could sound quite good when you're actually sat in it. Do you know what I mean? It's when you take a step back, and obviously there's not many people. I know there is some that sit in the home end for the away games and stuff that might be able to say, yeah, you know, Wednesday fans away are class, but it's different when you actually, you know, sat and actually looking at it from afar. Matt, there's just a real sense of apathy around the place at the moment. I know we've used that word quite a bit at the moment, in the past kind of 6 months, 12 months, even maybe longer. Just a real sense of kind of helplessness is what I'm feeling, you know, not just myself. I think like kind of everyone. I was sat there yesterday just kind of slowly watching the club die, watching as there was hardly anyone in the ground to start off with. There wasn't 22,000.
22,000 apparently.
There wasn't at all. I've never seen the Cop so empty in my life. And but for those that were watching on the, it looks like I've just frozen there. Have I frozen, Matt? I don't know.
You have frozen, but I'm sure you'll come back at some point, James.
Yeah, I've no idea what's happened there, but I'll just try and rectify that as we're talking. But no, I was there. And I was just thinking to myself, like the club's just slowly dying in front of our eyes, and it is that apathy, isn't it, Matt?
I think it's really difficult because obviously we've been speaking about the sense of apathy that's, hey, James has gone 6 minutes in, new record. I think we've been talking about this sense of apathy at Hillsborough for a long time, and that Hillsborough has been very passive and that we've become very reactionary as a fan base. We haven't really seen sort of a crowd spurring a side on for a good while, really. Like, you have to go back to, League One, I think the Plymouth game, and then obviously the Peterborough game. I think you can go back to the back end of the Great Escape season under Earl.
Yeah.
Last season, there was a lot of very, very passive atmospheres and a lot of very, we're waiting for players to give us something. Whereas this season, we all said it before, and that's not going to happen this year. Like, it's just not going to come from on the pitch. Like, and again, I know we're going to get into the game later. I actually thought that, I know we've come away 5-0 loss. I actually thought it was one of our better home performances. I thought we were awful against Bristol City. I thought we were awful against Stoke. I actually thought defensively yesterday, and I know this sounds fucking mental to say considering this could have been 8-0, had it not been for Ethan Horvath. I actually thought we were okay in spells of it yesterday. The other thing that I feel really sorry for is people who are going fortnightly to watch Sheffield Wednesday and just get to see the home games are missing out on an awful lot this year, and are missing out on those fleeting moments of few and far between positivity. And I mean that from a perspective of, it's not anybody's fault. But it is just a case of, I think Barry Bannon has mentioned it this evening on the Wednesday Week podcast that he's done an interview with them. He's mentioned it about kind of like the away support, and we've always parroted out that, like the away support's brilliant, it's this and this. But he's actually mentioned, away from home, it does actually spur you on a little bit more. Yeah. We've seen the benefit of that at Hillsborough, but I think I was speaking to somebody earlier today, and I think it's also what Hillsborough represents at the minute. Like, it is the place where you go, and it's just full of anger, despair, like apathy. Like, it's a feeling of helplessness constantly at home.
I feel like it goes up and down though, Matt. Like, in terms of there's been moments where I feel like we have all been together, but then kind of something else happens, and then that angers some sections of the fan base, and then it makes others kind of just turn the back and turn away. And then there has to be a kind of a period of time for those to kind of come back together again. Do you know what I mean? It kind of goes up. And at the moment, I feel like there's certain fans that are just polar opposites, and I think that's kind of what protests do. Like because some agree and some don't. And whilst nothing's really happening, people will come together because it's quite harmonious when I think you're just kind of bobbing along a bit, and then it takes something for people to have an opinion on, which then it just looks as if it's all falling apart. But I mean, yesterday I was just, I feel like these just like totally numb. I see the infighting as well between the fans, like fellow Wednesdayites calling the protest embarrassing, saying more people should be on the pitch. These people that also weren't on the pitch either as well, which I found a little bit ironic. I just like I looked at. Coventry, I've already mentioned the full away end, making a right old racket. 27 goals they've now scored in the league so far. I know they are a bit of an outlier when it comes to that. Not many have scored that many goals. I saw a guy on the bottom of the Leppings Lane, and I saw it when I was watching the highlights of the goals back. God forbid why I watched it. I've no idea. I mean,
I've watched it as well, James.
That's what this podcast does to you. It has to put you through absolute torture having to watch it. But I saw a guy on the bottom of the lap, and he had a lad. I don't know how old he looked, but he's carrying him. So I would say he's probably 3-4 years old, maybe a little bit older. I don't know. It's either when the fourth or the fifth goal goes in, and I'm looking and I'm thinking, I've got a lad who's he's 4 years old. He'll be 5 in a few weeks' time. I don't want to take him to Hillsborough, Matt. I'm not. I don't want to take him into this atmosphere. I mean, the other thing as well is getting absolutely pumped every week. What, 1 goal at home in the league game all season and conceded something absolutely ridiculous. I've lost count how many goals they've conceded now. And I feel like, why am I being deprived of those moments with my lad? You know, to watch a game of football with a football club that I love, you know, with my child and stuff. And now I'm feeling like I can't take him. It just absolutely boils my piss when I think about it. And it's all down to one man. Like one man sat fucking 7,000 miles away with his head in the sand. And I'm questioning myself whether I should take my lad to the football or not. Honestly, like, it just, nobody likes him. Like, he's gonna leave no legacy. Just fuck off. Matt, help me out, mate, because I'm getting. I think we're 11 minutes in. My camera's already fucking turned off, and now I'm getting pissed off about him.
Dejpon got in early this evening. He didn't even let you get through an hour and 20.
Fucking cut the power off. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll be honest, James. Like, personally, for myself, this is how it's felt since the start of the season. I've said it a few times this season, and no doubt I will do so again. It's tough this year, and again, if you are just going to home games, expect a lot more of it. Because it is coming. We haven't been good at home for well over a calendar year now, and that's not going to get any better with this particular season. I, like you, declined to take my son to his first match at Hillsborough for QPR because I refuse to pay any more money than or anything that's already gone in. I'm not going to take him. It might be the only point we get at home all season. But yeah, I mean, what the ground, again, I go back to that point about what the ground symbolises at the moment, is everything that's wrong with the club. And there are a number of teams who will come through Sheffield 6 this year and will have a field day. Do you remember Watford last year, where they ran away with the game in the second half, and it was like having a party, and they couldn't believe their luck, and there was all smiles on their faces and all the rest of it? Get used to that for the next 20-odd home games, or however many that's left. It is what it is. Again, I cannot stress this enough. For people to get to an away fixture this year by hook or by crook, by Twitter or X, trying to get kind of like spares, by begging and borrowing and stealing off mates, by trying to go and get themselves in a Sheffield Wednesday atmosphere with people around them at an away ground, because it is so different. And I know it's hard and I know it's different, but the set of expectations and the parameters are totally different. Like, take St Andrews on Tuesday night. St Andrews on Tuesday night, you could have still purchased a ticket up until about 24, 48 hours before the game. Yeah. In that away end for a Tuesday night, typically for a Tuesday night game away from home, there's a little bit of singing, there's a little bit of this, but it's not really, it's not energetic. When that George Brown goal went in, it was honestly some of the best celebrations that we've been involved in for a long, long time. The same at Wrexham, the same for the Nathaniel Chalobah one. Like, I cannot stress enough the difference between the two, because the expectations of the people there are set so differently, because away from home, you anticipate that it's going to be better. For myself personally, it still feels like there are a lot of people, number one, coming out of habit, number two, coming because they feel they've got to, because they've paid the money for it. And I mean this very nicely. I know I'm not from the city. Once Sheffield people have paid 600, 700, 800 quid for a season ticket, they're fucking using it. I've
had this voucher for Morrison's for 2 weeks. It expires today. So I'm going to go and use it today.
Mate, I love it. I love it. My dad immediately, Dad, where should I get a bank account? Halifax. But it's
Yorkshire
one of those.
Bank.
Yeah, it's one of those where, again, I think the reality of the situation sets in for people very quickly, and then it becomes very hard to stomach and watch, because every single home game bar the QPR, there has been a mass exodus early. There has. There's been a mass exodus early, and people are finding it, for whatever reason, too painful to stay and to back the players and to back the team and back the coaching staff and show their support for them on a consistently, for 90 minutes. I'm not blaming anybody. You've paid your money. You do what you want, to be perfectly honest with you. But it is having an impact on why I think there is that feeling of apathy surrounding the football club at the minute, because it's a hard play. It's really hard to G yourself up to go. and sit.
It's hard selling it as well. Trying to.
It is.
I mean, I know obviously nobody's going to buy tickets anyway, but imagine trying to sell Sheffield Wednesday, as in, well, if you are trying to sell Sheffield Wednesday, tell Dapon because he needs a bit of help in that. But I mean, if you're trying to just sell it to your mates to try and get them to come to a game, very difficult at this moment in time. But don't, because we're not buying tickets. And more on that in a second as well. I'm just going to read a few comments out. Do keep them all coming in. We've got Duncan, RIP Milan. That's what a chairman is like. Chance here a bit spelt differently. Dill says RIP Milan. Neville, good evening, lads. Duncan, need to boycott Middlesbrough game like the Lino boycotted the flag for the third goal. Yes, we'll come on to that in a second. Annie's in the building, RIP Milan. John, the same. Big Art Show, evening, sad news yesterday, RIP Milan, always in our thoughts. Matt, if Dej was half the man Milan was, we'd not be in this situation. Yeah, we're going to talk about Milan in a second as well. Matt says, good to see Barney Owl still with us. Yes, his P45 has not been received in the post just yet. Maybe the post is delayed, or maybe Dej couldn't afford any stamps. Or
maybe there's no one to sack him. There's actually nobody left to sack him.
Probably not. I heard that, just as a sidebar, I heard that people in the away end working behind the kiosks were just giving the drinks away for now.
Crack on, boys. Feel free. A warm Carlin. Feel free.
I don't know if that were just kind of a Cov fan trying to wind up us Wednesday fans, but then it kind of backfired because everyone was like, yeah, happy days. If he's giving away for nothing, that's helping our cause.
100%. Well,
giving away the
yellow
beers.
and black scarf as well.
Giving away the beers, we aren't even getting any money for them. So if that did actually happen, if any Cov fans are listening, let me know if that did actually happen, because that would be absolutely quality. And whoever that was working behind the bar, if they'll get a job at any Weatherspoons, I'm sure these people out there will give them a job working there. Nate Cohn form is terrible. Look a lot better away. We can write this season off, however, and we know why that is, definitely. Matt says the players know how we feel and what's happening. Fans get on the pitch and the players waving their arms about. It was peaceful. If they're going to wave their arms about, they'll get the same treatment as DC. I'm going to talk about the pitch invasion a little bit later on as well. Lots of comments. I see these comments about my camera as well. It did some sort of update like halfway through. Like, what's all that about? I'm having no joy, am I? Someone said I'm having a backup camera. Before long, I'll have about 17
cameras. Yeah,
I'll have all the angles. It'll be like watching. You used to watch Premier League on Sky Sports, and you press the red button, and you could have all the different angles.
Fan
of the
cam,
game.
fan cam, player cam,
player cam, behind the goal. Yeah, you could have all the angles of mapping doing the podcast. If you sign up to Patreon, you get the side angle. Anyway, talking about new features. The Megast is no more, Matt. I could not believe it. I didn't see it. I walk pretty much past the shop when I get into the north stand. I'm on the bottom bit, so I don't have to go up the little ramp. But apparently I'm not seeing it, so I cannot confirm. It could have been a Photoshop, but I don't think it was. I think it's actually the O, the R, and the E have been replaced. I never thought I would see the day. I think the club is being sold, Matt.
I was just about to say, James, that's it. It's been sold. Fucking hell, that's it. That's John Textor's money. That's Guadaschioni's money. That's everybody who we've ever heard of has bought the last three letters, and it's a subliminal message to everyone. Next one that's coming out is that shit clock that I have to look at on the north stand. He's going to get, again, sidebar here, James. When the club posted the image of all of the fans holding up the "Thank You Milan,"
yes,
of the North Stand, the like the placards and the cards, that was actually all fully intact. All the fascia around the old clock, it now has been bent back, broken, busted, all the rest of it. And again, in such a sad moment, I really don't want it. I just thought that is another just shining example of what's happened since the person who's taken over has done to the football club.
Well, I was going to say, if by the Middlesbrough game I go and we've actually got running water, then we definitely know it's been sold. However, we're not going to the Middlesbrough game, are we? Which we'll probably touch on in a bit as well.
I wanted to say as well, James, here. I did want to say here as well. Reports at the QPR game, because I wasn't on, because I had Ryder Cup here. Reports were the hot water shortage has hit the south.
Fuck. Really? Jesus Christ.
Allegedly. So, unconfirmed reports. I didn't test it myself, personally, because I'm literally going into the stadium, going straight to my seat and then going back out.
Yeah.
But unconfirmed reports that the hot water was not running on the south for the QPR game.
They'll be absolute uproar. No wonder there were a lot more vociferous chanting coming from the South Stand this weekend, if that was what's happened. Anyway, we have got lots and lots to talk about. We're 21 minutes in and we're not even got even to the game yet. So if you have come here for some in-depth analysis of the 5-0 hammering against Coventry, you might want to tune into something else because you're not really going to get it on here. We are going to be
sorry, Alex, I've just highlighted this on Werther's Rage on the south. Werther's Rage, and also this one, James. That is too sharp. Megast is no more. ORE. Well done. Really appreciate that one.
He's had that one in the draft, Sanny, definitely. He's not just thought that one up on a whim. No, we have got lots to talk about. We will talk about the Coventry game, of course. We will do. Yeah, I'm just joking. I do want to caveat this all, as we always do every time. We are just talking about the performance, and yes, we get why we're in this situation and things like that. But we'll just critique the game for what it is. I don't want comments saying we know why we're shit. It's him at the top. We know that. We 100% get it. But we'll talk about it just for what it was. We can talk about staff taking loans out to just get by day to day. Talk about the interest in Ernie Weaver, which was pretty much inevitable. We will talk about the pitch invasion. But before we do all that, as I kind of mentioned at the top, we'll actually just be up. Go on.
I've just pulled this one up from Sky Blue Deck, which is how much for Weaver. So there's going to be a lot of those comments, I would imagine, over the next couple of games, because he's having a storming start to his professional footballing career.
Yeah, we can do you a deal, mate. We can give you Dom Iorfa as well. We can perhaps give you... We've got a fantastic striker. EK Ugbo is his name. So we can give you him as well. You can do a 3-for-1 for about 25 million if you're interested, and we'll drive him there yourself. Ernie Weaver, he's fine. We'll drive the other two there. Anyway, let's stop being facetious.
Steve Beanie, as I mentioned, 2 Bob and a Conker.
That's what Chancery'll sell him for.
Absolutely.
Just wait till January. As I mentioned at the top, Matt, let's get serious for a second. We learned yesterday the passing of former chairman, Mr. Milan Mandaric, at the age of 87. Born in 1938 in former Yugoslavia, he would become chairman of Portsmouth, Leicester City and Sheffield Wednesday. He also was chairman of other foreign clubs, I think in France and Belgium, before that. He bought us back in 2010 for a pound, if you remember. Obviously guided us back into the Championship and eventually sell the club in 2015 to the man who shall not be named. Matt, just quickly, obviously very sad news that Milan has passed away. I mean, our thoughts with his friends and family at this difficult time, and I think we're just kind of forever thankful, really, aren't we, that when you go back to that time, it was bad, like it's bad now. There was genuine concerns that the club may be no more. It got into administration and things like that. So for Milan to step in when he did and kind of take that burden on, I think we have to be quite thankful, don't we, really?
Yeah, it's incredibly sad news. I mean, again, James, just echoing those sentiments, I'll always be glad that he stepped up when seemingly nobody else would. Was he perfect? No, let's not pretend he was. The reason why I liked him and respected him as a chairman is you knew exactly where you stood and what you were getting with him as a fan. You knew we were skint. You knew we were never going to spend more than 250 grand on a player. You knew the pitch was going to be fucked between November to March. But he as an individual engaged you. He made cutthroat decisions for the betterment of the football club, and he laid the foundations for a very, very stable Championship side. Exactly what we are crying out for now. He was exactly what the club needed, a grown-up in charge, and on the balance of everything, without him, there is no Sheffield Wednesday at this moment in time. The highest compliment that I can pay him is he left the perfect opportunity for the right person, and he never overplayed his importance at the football club.
Yeah, and you know what? I think someone like him now is what we need right now. Like, as in, steady the ship. I think I've already said this many times. Like, we don't need someone to be the next chairman or the next owners or whoever it is that come in next. For me, aren't the one, and by that I mean like the one to get us to the promised land, to get us to the Premier League. Really, I really don't mind if the next people are like Milan Mandaric, comes in, steadies the ship, sorts it out. You know, the Sam Allardyce of chairman, basically. Yeah. You know what I mean? Sorts it all out, gets it into a position where it's all right, and then they go, I'm going to move it on. You take your money, take your profit, whatever it is, and then you let someone else do whatever they need to do and get it to where it needs to be. And I feel like that's what we need right now, someone like him. And it's just really sad that he gave it away or sold it to someone, and then now it's been put back in that position that it was kind of before he came to the club.
I do agree, James, but I think there is obviously a lot that's out there surrounding Milan Mandaric. I don't think the time is now for that discussion surrounding him as an individual and, you know, the clubs that he was an owner of. I think when you are looking at when I go back to kind of like talking about cutthroat decisions that were for the betterment of the football club, he sacked Gary Megson after a derby win because he recognised that the squad needed more, and he realised that actually Dave Jones was the right man for the job. Dave Jones then struggled. He then goes out and appoints Stuart Gray. I know it was internal, but Stuart Gray, for my money, I've really enjoyed watching Sheffield Wednesday under Stuart Gray because you knew exactly what you were going to get. It was I look back at Milan Mandaric's tenure as owner of Sheffield Wednesday, and you knew exactly what you were going to get. And he created almost like a very mirror image of what Sheffield Wednesday fans kind of want and admire. He didn't try to put any shit down, basically. He just gave you, look, this is what it is, and you are just going to have to deal with it. I will do my absolute utmost. And his actions followed suit, if that made sense. So he would say, you know, we can't go out and spend, you know, more than 250 grand on a player, because that was obviously the joke that was parroted for a while, wasn't it? But I will go out and seek opportunities to get good players in. Michail Antonio being a prime example, Ross Barkley being another. He went out and found value and appointed, the other thing I think is also worthwhile saying, he appointed good people into the football club and brought the right people to build a structure behind the scenes, which sadly over the last years has been dismantled piece by piece. He run it on a shoestring, but he ran it and used every ounce of his knowledge so well to put the club into a position that actually, if we if we fast forward to where we are now in time and you say we need somebody like that, if we were in that position now, we would be an incredibly attractive proposition to somebody looking to purchase a mid-table, very solid and very stable championship club that just needs that investment to push it over the top and give it a really good chance and to move the club forward. Again, I will always be eternally grateful for what he did for this football club. But yeah, it's really, really sad news.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's shocked quite a lot of people, certainly in the Sheffield Wednesday space, but also, you know, other clubs that he's been chairman of as well. Before we talk about the match, then I just want to first of all, I hope everyone has seen the launch video for the new Sheffield Wednesday Supporters Trust shirts that went out yesterday with Mr. Steve Bracknell. I think they look brilliant. You know, I want to say as well, I've been involved with sorting that. To kind of just give you a bit of a backstory. Obviously, I've done my own shirts. I did the green and white one, which is like the '88 away, like Celtic shirt that people kind of call it, which you might have seen me wearing a few times. It was put on sale a couple of years back. I was also on hand, like sorting the armed forces, kind of the remake of the shirt that you're wearing now, the black and gold one. And then I thought to myself that, well, I'll do something else this time around. And then I just thought, you know what? Actually, what's the point of me doing something and then maybe the trust doing something? Like, why don't we just do it together? So I got in touch with the trust and I was like, do you want to kind of collaborate on on a shirt, and then they're like, well, why do one when we can do two? I was like, yeah, whatever. That's fine. So it's been a long time backwards and forwards with the design and stuff. It's for those that haven't seen it, it's the yellow. I want to say it's late 80s, isn't it? The yellow away shirt. I should have that to hand. And then it's the 93 home shirt as well, the one that we wore when we beat Sheffield United at Wembley in the semi-final of the FA Cup. It's based on those two shirts. It has got the Sheffield Children's Hospital logo on the front as well, so all the profits from those shirt sales will go straight to the Children's Hospital, which I think is absolutely fantastic. The Trust aren't making any money on the shirts at all. Like I said, all the profits will go there. They will be available to buy from my shop, our shop. You'll be able to buy them like you have been doing the scarves, which you keep telling me they're out of stock, and I'm like, I know they're out of stock. But you'll be able to buy them on there. Should be available in the next couple of days. They'll be on a pre-order, and then they should be available in about 5 or 6 weeks, and they'll be posted straight out to you as well. So yeah, they do look very good. The quality of them is immense as well, and they'll be a lot cheaper than what the official home and away and third shirts are in the club shop as well, which I'm sure you'll all be delighted to know as well. Right, let's get on to the match then. We always start with the starting lineup. Quite easy this time. No changes from the side that played in midweek against Birmingham City, at least started that game anyway. Horvath, Iofa, Maxlow, Weaver, Palmer, Valerie, Bannon, Ingleson, Amas, Kadamatre and Jamal Lowe did mean that George Brown had to start on the bench. Matt, what was your thoughts on that starting 11?
I was surprised in midweek against Birmingham City not to see George Brown included from the start, but then given his age and given his sharp rise in professional football, I completely understood it. Again, this weekend, I would have liked to have seen him start. It's difficult, however, to drop a forward who has started the game and scored, irrespective of what people have their own beliefs on Jamal Lowe. And also, this is a game where if for those people who are still thinking about like targeting a certain points or targeting certain games, this is not one of them. So actually, I didn't really have a problem with them looking at it and going, do you know what, we'll leave it as it is. We've got an international break after this. It's the end of a 3-game week. I thought the performance on the pitch looked like the end of a 3-game week for a squad with 12 professional, like first team, quote unquote, players. But yeah, ultimately, again, this is the first side that back line has been really exposed. I don't think it was through lack of trying yesterday, and I don't think it was through lack of application or work rate or individuals making, really glaring errors where it was against, say, Bristol City or Stoke. It was just we came up against a much better side, and that's pretty much the tale of the tape.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just going to echo what you've just said, because Brown coming in for Jamal Lowe would be the only change that I would make. And to be fair, it's the only change that you can make, I think, to be honest. When you look at that side, the only other senior player is going to be Iko, Charlie McNeil, but both would have done nothing. I think Charlie McNeil's gone really off the boil. Like Henrik's really, he must have done something. I know that miss against Wrexham was bad in the last minute, but I didn't think it was that bad. But cause he's just not in favour whatsoever. And I thought this would be his time, Charlie McNeil. I thought this would be his opportunity to really, really kick on in Sheffield Wednesday colours.
I do agree. I would also say that there isn't a natural position for him in the way that we play currently. There isn't. He's not an out-and-out forward. I know he scored a lot of goals for Manchester United at youth level, but that's a completely different kettle of fish. I don't think his physical presence is a match for George Brown. I don't think his pace is electric to take him away from defenders at this level. Naturally, a player like that, who is technically gifted, is then going to get put onto a wider position. And I don't think, honest answer is, James, I don't think we have enough of the ball to see the best of him. That's not how we play at the minute. We don't play with the ball. If we take the performances where we've done well over the last week, in terms of at QPR, at home, and against Birmingham City, we have played predominantly without the ball in both of those games. And our results, or positive results in terms of 2 draws, have come from a solid defensive structure where you've got 2 lads up top all day who will chase lost causes. Nicest will in the world, That is not Charlie McNeil at this point in his career. It's not what he's been brought up doing, and he's struggling to adapt. Can I be completely honest here, James? To me, currently, I know we're into October, I don't want to write any players off at this point in time. I think what we are witnessing as Sheffield Wednesday fans, having seen Jenny Gassama have the rise that he did last year, and also Anthony Masaba the year before, I think people are going to have to get used to the fact that the two replacements who could come in for those positions, Olaf Kabatsky and Charlie McNeil, are just not at the level. It's not their fault. It's not their problem. You will see flashes and glimpses from both players, but it's just not their bag at the minute.
Yeah, I think we switched to kind of a 4-3-3 near the end. I think when Charlie McNeil came on, I think that kind of suits him a little bit more, being, like a wide forward maybe. But I think he's more suited to being, wide or in the 10. Where he played against Wrexham, I thought worked quite well. They were getting some balls in the box. Obviously, he got an assist for Cadamartri. I don't think he actually was given as a Charlie McNeil assist in the end, was it? Because it came off one of the Wrexham players.
There was a deflection in it, yeah.
Yeah, but doing something like that for me is where he might be best. But you're right, it just doesn't really fit in this system, and we haven't got enough players to be able to play a multitude of different systems. It is just what it is. That kind of 3-5-2 or 5-3-2, whichever way you want to call it. All the different variations. But basically playing with three centre backs is what we have to do at this moment in time. In terms of overall, then, Matt, we've said, haven't we, that we're going to get a few of these hammerings, I think, this season, and I'm not going to lie. I thought it would come as sooner than the 9th game in the league. I thought, if I'm being perfectly honest, I thought game week 1 might have been the first absolute battering we got when you come up against Leicester away from home at the King Power. I thought that is a potential hammering. So fair play that we've got this far. But when you looked at it on paper, and I know I've got a bit of stick for saying that Lampard were getting his excuses in and stuff, but I think people kind of missed the point on that one. What I was saying was, this is a potential banana skin, and if it ends up being a banana skin, he's got his excuses in already for why it might go wrong. He didn't need them because he just absolutely steamrolled us. But that was the point. I think that was missed by some people. But anyway, it's what it is. From a footballing perspective, I just think we just look tired, both physically and mentally. And I think that's perfectly normal when you're playing. It was literally the same side for these 3 games. I was saying that we might see some rotation in there. I don't know who that rotation would be. And I think it also smacks of those other players clearly aren't ready, because Henrik's not even willing to put them in when other players are playing, 3 games in a week. I know that's normal. You don't have to rotate the whole team, but I would have seen, you'd like to have seen 2, maybe 3 changes. I guess the fact that the international break is coming up helps, but God, imagine if we've got an injury, over in this game, that would really. He's obviously risked the getting an injury over, getting. Well, we got slapped anyway, even with our quote unquote best 11 that we've got. But yeah, I think. Just add that all to the fact that they've not been paid recently either. When I was saying about the mentally tired, I think there were certainly some players that looked well off it. I think yesterday, really.
I think the other thing is, James, as well. You have to look at the opposition who you're playing and give them credit. We can sit here and rattle off everything about that was wrong with our performance yesterday. I also think that pretty much everything that Coventry touched turned to gold yesterday as well. They are massively on a fantastic run of form, but it's a side brimming with confidence who they have the perfect manager for that situation, as we saw when he was at Derby. When he has got a side with the quality like Coventry City have got, and has got them playing free-flowing, attacking football where it is all done at pace, because Coventry yesterday didn't dally on the ball once. They didn't take the time over things. They didn't try and dictate. They get the ball and it's right. First thought from every single one of them is, how can we go forward? Matt,
how many times do you see a 5-0 hammering and the team that's got hammered 5-0 have more possession than the other team?
Take 100%, James. Take the Hadji Wright miss on, I think it was 11 minutes, where the ball is slipped through from Matt Grimes. That is from a possession turnover, and inside of 3 seconds he's cleaning on goal. Like and that was, I think, typified their performance yesterday. Were there some elements that were to the performance that were luck, that on another day go another way? Yeah, of course there were. Do I think that, say for argument's sake, the third goal 9 times out of 10 gets disallowed for offside? Yeah, of course I do. But again, I cannot stress this enough. You've got players. I thought, I know we're going to come on to talk about him when we talk about the goals. Brandon Thomas Asante for them yesterday absolutely typified what is happening at Coventry. Brandon Thomas Asante, when he left West Brom, was a player who, when he's on form and full of confidence, he's worthwhile. But he goes long spells throughout a season where he doesn't hit form. Last year, when we played Coventry, he came off. They brought on Ellis Sims or Haji Wright, and immediately they look like a different team because they've got a forward on the pitch who looks like he's going to be a danger. Yesterday, for me, Brandon Thomas Asante caused us all sorts of problems in loads of different areas of the pitch. It's a player brimming with confidence and a side who were, again, he's got a lot of stick. I've given him stick. I will happily put my hands up and say Ethan Horvath actually yesterday had probably the best game on the pitch for anybody. He made some saves yesterday where I was thinking, oh, do you know what? I didn't think you were going to keep that out. Like, to be perfectly honest with you. I agree. It's not the fault of the application of the players in games like this. Yesterday, it's just a side who are dead on their feet against a side with genuine quality and strength in depth. I honestly, James, I think if we'd have gone up against that Coventry side and the performance that they put in yesterday, even with the side that we had last year, and the side that we had last year we talked about was lacking a lot of depth. I'll be straight with you. I still think we come out losing 3-0. They were all over us yesterday.
Well, I mean, when you're scoring goals and not conceding them, you literally, you're on top of the world, aren't you? Like you said, everything you touch turns to gold. Matt said, looked like a cup game between League One team versus a Prem top 6. Yeah, I have to agree. Yeah, Alex says, we are a League One team, sadly. Matt then says, is that including the ref and the offside goal? John says, soon to be League Two. Matt, it was a training game for Coventry. Yeah, I don't think Coventry even got out of second gear, to be fair. I think they just, when the game was 1-0, obviously we went 1-0 down very early, as we did against Birmingham as well. And I was watching the game, and up until they scored the second, I felt like this could be the Birmingham game in terms of, like, I know we had a little bit more of the ball in this one, but we're kind of not at the races at all. We're getting beat pretty soundly, but the game was still 1-0. They're having more of the chances, more of the clear-cut chances, being more threatening and stuff, and every time they came forward, it looked like they were going to score. But I was thinking, do you know what? If we can get in at half-time at 1-0, we've got a chance here. Like, we and I thought that was the game plan against Birmingham. As it happens, Jamal Lowe gets one on a plate that he tried his best to miss, but we still he scored
Keeper
it.
Still chucked it in.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah, and it ended up 1-1 at half time, even better. But it's like, because you'd be going in at half time saying, look, 40, you've gone 40 minutes and we haven't scored another goal. Like, if all you've got to do is do that again, but and you will get a chance to just take your chance that comes your way. We went in 3-0 down, so that didn't really happen. But I felt like if we'd have just could have frustrated him a little bit more. But it was just the quality that was on show for me. It was Coventry were a far better side. They were stroking it around with, like, effortless. I think when we had the ball, there wasn't many runners off the ball either. There was no options for people. Players were running forward, and they were just having to turn back every time because, I mean, let's give Coventry credit. Whenever I talk about this, it's very easy to say there is no runners and there's no one getting into space and things. Yeah. But on the other side, you think, well, the other team just might be really good at kind of blocking them passes off and stuff as well. And it's always an issue with your team, not a kind of praise for the opposition either. I think it was a bit of both, though. To be honest, I did look around and I was seeing people that didn't look interested. I pointed out, again, I'm going to mention him, Jamal Lowe. He was just kind of strolling around. I think he had a very difficult game yesterday, though. When I've been thinking back, he was stuck out on that right hand side because they had a bit of an overload. Palmer was having to tuck in, and he was picking up, I think it was Thomas Asante. I forgive, I'm not sure who their left back is. Is it Milan?
I know who you mean. I know who you mean. Yeah.
I forget what his name was now. Is it Van? No, it was De Silva. I think
De Silva, because they've got De Silva and Van Ewijk, haven't they? Who in terms of like stature and profile and the way they run, also look almost identical.
Yeah, I'm getting. It's Ephraim Mason-Clark who Palmer was picking up because he was playing out wide.
Yes,
and it was De Silva, and Jamal Lowe was having to pick up De Silva when he was coming forward, and I think we were that afraid of them getting forward.
Yeah.
That Jamal Lowe was literally playing like a wing back role and having to defend, and it just looked like he was like thinking, I haven't been fucking paid, and I'm doing something I don't want to do. And it just came across that way. It sounds like I'm digging him out, but I saw effort from everyone else, pretty much, and he did just stand out for me. But I do get it. I fully understand the situation. I would be. You can see he's pissed off though as well, Matt, with his song choices on Instagram. It's obviously getting to a minute, and rightly so. He's a human being at the end of the day, and he's getting towards the end of his career. He's probably also thinking, I thought my end of my career would probably be a bit more enjoyable than this.
Yeah. I don't think this is what he'd signed up for when he signed for Sheffield Wednesday and scored inside of 20 minutes in the sun against Plymouth. I think the other thing is, James, as well, his style is very languid. His style of play is like, even when he's got the ball and he's on form, he slows play down. That is his natural game. It is something that was often accused of Josh Windass. And I know they're two completely separate players in terms of they both had very, very different careers, both been very successful careers. That is something that I would say in my Sheffield Wednesday supporting conscious time, it's not something that Sheffield Wednesday fans take too easy. You've got to be one hell of a fucking player and score a boatload of goals to stop. Apologies, James, because I'm going to make you. I'm not bracketing you in this, but to make your dad happy that he doesn't run around like a fucking blue arse fly, like chasing lost causes, etc. It's not something that we are accustomed to seeing. And I suppose, again, if we were in a better position with the players around him, he's not, I wouldn't say a luxury player, but he's a player who within a system, you can give him the ball and he will make things happen. I go back to the Wrexham game, I go back to the Leicester game. When we are in and around the edge of a box, in those two games, he picks the correct pass out wide. So what would now be known as, I know people hate all XG and shit like that, but a pre-assist. He's the one who feeds the ball out wide to Valerie, cuts it back to Chalobah, takes two players out with the pass, goal. He's the one who picks the pass for Charlie McNeil to whip the ball back across for Bailey Cadamartri, because he's in those central advanced positions where he can make a difference. I don't know what you would, aside from somebody like, aside from a player like Marvin Johnson, who we had last season, who would run all day chasing people back last year, and he would go forward up and down, and that was his Steve Bracknell up and down bombing on. They would have that natural application. We just don't have that this year. We just don't have those options. And again, you come up against a side like Coventry, who, let's not forget here, Coventry were playoff semi-finalist last year. The year before, FA Cup semi-finalists. The year before, did they finish just outside the playoffs or inside
the year before
that?
They were in the final, weren't they?
Yeah, they were in the final against Luton. This is a side that have been, for the best part of the last 5 years, at the top end of this division. I know they've had a lot of player churn and they've turned players over, etc., etc. It doesn't matter. This is a well-built, well-financed, well-structured club that are run correctly on and off the pitch. They're everything that I want Sheffield Wednesday to be. Everything that I want them to be from a footballing perspective. So I can't sit here and say, these players are, there wasn't this, there wasn't that. Like, again, they are just a better team. And there was a comment that you pulled up earlier where you were saying it looked like aside from League One, a cup game from aside from a lower division against aside from a much higher division who just took their games. That one from Matt Richards there, it did. It looked like there were just levels to this, and that was how it proved yesterday.
Yeah, I'm going to bring another question from another Matt, or comment from another Matt. There's loads of Matts in here. They're taking over the place.
Too common.
Matt Potter says they pressed us high and we gave them the ball, and let's not talk about how we defended, or rather didn't defend the corners. You just rinse and repeat on that one, Matt. Yeah. He goes on to say, I agree that they're a decent informed team, but I do think that we made them look better than they are. I can't blame players for not doing better, though, after not being paid again. Yes. James says the pitch invasion interrupted our impetus. So, well, as far as I'm concerned, it meant that we didn't concede between minutes 10 and 17. So, I think that was fair play. You know, did the stats a world of good. You know, we'd already conceded one in between 0 and 15 minutes. I think that's the fifth goal we've conceded in the first 15 minutes of the games. The first 9 as well, which is mentally. In over half the games this season, we've conceded pretty much out the gun. I think it's 4 inside 10, 5 inside 15, which, well, the goal was conceded this weekend was, what was it, 3 minutes, I think it was. It's happened so many times. Do you know what? I think it's teams are coming at us just 110 miles an hour. They're like, this team has got problems. Like let's not get wrapped up in all the stuff with the, I suppose Coventry knew on 10 minutes something's going to happen. Like, the fear was, let's just get a goal or 2 goals in these 10 minutes because we don't know what's going to happen. Like, you don't know if Lampard were talking about it. You don't know what they wanted clarity on what the situation's going to be and things like that. I mean, to be fair, if they'd have forfeited the game, at least it'd have gone down as a 3-0 and not 5. So maybe we should have tried a bit more to do that. Paul says, why do we wait until 85 minutes to sub our tired players? Paul, we just simply haven't got any options to bring on to.
I have a theory on that, Paul, and I think it's because Henrik's trying to get people their appearance money.
Possibly. Yeah,
I'm not trying to be horrible here. Like those subs, what's the point? Like at that point, what is the point? You're going to make them earlier. It's getting game time. It's appearances. It's etc.
Yeah, definitely. Kevin says we'll let 2 best strikers go in Smith and Windass. Yeah, Windass has got 3 goals for the season. I think Smith's opened his account up as well, and he's not really playing that much either.
But again, I mean this very nicely, James. With Josh Windass in this side, are any of those results any better that we've had this season? Are they any better? Like, you might get a worldie from him. Is he the type of player to have taken a game by the scruff of the neck? No, he's not.
No, I think the difference is, though, if you add a Windass and a Smith, if you put both of them on the bench, well, Windass won't be on the bench to start off with.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're bringing on a Bailey Cadamartre, or you're bringing on a Michael Smith to kind of change it, or a Callum Patterson. I think you literally look at the bench, and no disrespect to the young lads that are on there, and I hope, like Ernie Weaver and George Brown, they get a chance and they take that chance. Yeah. You literally just look at them and you just go, well, we've got plan A, and let's just hope that plan A works, because we just haven't got a plan B at all. And no. I am quite fearful of what's going to be happening, like later on in the season. Now I don't think is really our problem. No. I mean, it might feel like it is a problem, but
it's not yet. It can't get any worse, can it? It can't.
You make me coffee again. Sick of that bloke. Let's talk about the goals then. First goal, another goal conceded inside 10 minutes, as I've already mentioned. It took them 3 minutes to get that one. It's a great corner when you see it. It's got the whip and the bend, and it just kind of just drops kind of just on the back of the 6-yard box. Lands on the head of their player. Forgive me, I don't know who it is.
Was it Bobby Thomas?
It might have been. He was tall,
I think so.
lad.
He won everything in the air yesterday.
Yeah. For me, Valerie just has to do better. I mean, the other guy, Thomas, he's all over him, and I think you've just got to be stronger. It looks as if he's kind of got him in a way that he's stopping Valerie from jumping, and he just gets there first, wins the header, and then it's Thomas Asante that's just on the line, just gets there before Max Lowe, and just making sure that it goes in. I don't know if Max Lowe's going to clear it. Probably is.
Yeah.
And it's just like, we've just kicked off, we've sat down, and then it's that 3 minutes in, and you're just like, oh, it's one of them days again.
Yeah. My personal opinion is I thought the goal was fortunate. I thought it was a fantastic delivery and a great first contact from Bobby Thomas. Max Lowe is positioned exactly where you want him to, but these are the things that go for you when you're a side full of confidence. Players follow in. I'm not talking about, the deflection or this or that. I'm on about the fact that the header comes back across the goal, and you've got players following the ball into following the ball in. We saw this we saw it for the third goal as well. You've got a queue of players. Yeah, all right, they're all 4 miles offside, but you've got a queue of players all lining up ready to tap the ball in. I thought Max Lowe does everything that he wants. However, when you're a side full of confidence, smelling blood, you need to get an early goal just to kill any type of hang on, we might actually create an atmosphere at this game if it's like at QPR, there was at least some level of atmosphere there because the game was tight. Again, I mentioned about Brandon Thomas Asante being a confidence player. Last year, he's not there. Last year, he's doing an EK Ugbo 5 yards behind it. He's not there. Yeah. This year, he's a different proposition. It is what it is. Like it's a poor goal to concede on the surface of it. When you look at it, the ball in's great. The centre half does exactly what you would want the centre half to do, which is win the first header and get the first contact on it, and your forward follows the ball in. It's sloppy. It's naive. You can call it a whole host of things. Ultimately, I would just think do you know what? It is. Max Lowe's there. It's unlucky that they both get the contact at exactly the same time and the ball fires up into the roof of the net.
Yeah, exactly. The second goal then, it's Thomas Asante again. It's it's a half an hour in between both goals, as I mentioned. I'm thinking, get to half-time, come on. We might just have a bit of a chance in this game with everything that's going on. Obviously, we've had the protests, we've had the pitch invasion by this point. Dom Iorfa does amazing to win the ball first and foremost, shows his pace, shows his strength, just shoulders the lad off it and knocks him going flying. I think that must have been Ephraim Mason Clark who he knocked off the ball. Offloads it to Bannon, who then passes it straight back to him, and then Iorfa takes one touch, and fair play to Mason Clark, he gets straight back up and he starts chasing back and he puts in a slide tackle. You just mentioned it earlier on when we mentioned about the Haji Wright chance, winning the ball back high up the pitch. I mentioned it about the Portsmouth game. If you win the ball back in their half, you're just going to start an attack straight away. You're not going to start passing it around the back and things. You're going to be straight on it and trying to create a chance. That's exactly what they did. Then as soon as Thomas Asante got the ball, I said to Steve, I went, this is going to be a goal, this. Yeah. And he just ran straight, horizontally across the pitch, across the 18-yard box. I think it's Bannon that tries to put a challenge in, and then I think it's Weaver that tries to do it as well. And he just gets away from both of them. And then he actually makes it harder for himself, but then I think he makes it easier to score. Because he's gone away from the goal, the keeper's probably expected him to go one side, and he doesn't. He puts it in the opposite corner, which you're told to do. Always put it in the corner that they're not expecting you to put it in. It's a great effort. It got into goal of the day contention. I don't think it was that good, but it is a good finish into the corner. And then Horvath has absolutely no chance of saving that one. It was 2-0, and at that point I just thought game over. I know we came back from 2-0 down against Wrexham, but that just kind of any sort of little bit of hope that we had, the kind of the anger and the added kind of atmosphere after what happened on 10 minutes. I thought that maybe we could get this into half time, but then when that goes in, that just for me just killed it all.
Yeah, I think Bannon obviously is trying to cut off the reverse ball when I think Thomas Asante picks it up, which forces him inside to go across the box, which to be fair, I saw Bannon getting a bit of stick from a couple of people. He's doing the right thing because he's shepherding him into all the help, like the defensive help.
I think for me, the stick comes to passing it back to Dom Iorfa. He's just got to launch it. I mean, Dom Iorfa's not best on the ball at the best of times, is he? But you've given it him down in the corner. I mean, he could have, had Mason Clark not tackled him, then maybe. But I think for me in that situation, you've just got to go long. It's just got to go and get it away and push up. But I don't know what they're doing in training. Maybe Dom Iorfa is like Paolo Maldini in training.
Does he? I can't remember, James. Does he come from the blind side of him, Ephraim Mason Clark?
He does.
Yeah. So he comes. So again. Again, he's doing exactly what as Frank Lampard, exactly what you would want and telling him to do, which is win the ball high up the pitch. He comes from a blind side, wins the ball, nicks it off him. It goes to Thomas Asante. again, at this point, I personally feel this is exceptional forward play. It takes everyone wider and wider and wider, to the point of probably Ernie Weaver is thinking, well, originally I was going to go out and throw myself into this, which Ernie Weaver is very good at.
Yeah.
And he can't actually do that because he's having to shuffle and get sideways, and he just picks his perfect opportunity just to get the ball like whipped back into the corner. And it's a great finish. It's drilled right into the, right into that part of the side netting, which is, Piers Charles is 5'4", like Ethan Horvath is 6 foot whatever. No goalkeeper saving it. Like no goalkeeper saving it. It's a great finish. It finds the gap, pulls the trigger at the right time. Proper opportunistic, capitalising it on as a forward is, again, of the two that we've heard of so far and the one that's coming next, no complaints with this one whatsoever.
Yeah, well, that was the 11th goal that we've seen at Hillsborough. Unfortunately, that was one that we've scored, and that was the 10th goal that. No, sorry, it must be the it was the 11th goal that we'd scored. No, 12th. I'm losing count. Anyway, it's a lot, and it's a lot in our goal and not in theirs. The third goal, Matt. I think it's pretty clear that this one is offside. I didn't think it was at the time. Everyone was going mental. I'm thinking, maybe I'm a bit wrong here. I've watched it back. Matt, take it away.
He might as well be stood on the fucking lep. He might as well be sat in the cop. Sorry, he might as well be sat in the cop. I mean, it's offside clearly from the first ball. I would suggest this is what happens when you work a set piece really well and you do something inventive and different. Because actually the set piece is really well worked, and it's not necessarily from the fact that it's the way in which that people are taken out. It's the little reverse ball from Matt Grimes, who, again, I've seen him a number of times when he was playing for Swansea. I thought he dictated play very nicely, but not much else. My God, has he been set on fire in this Coventry team. Jesus Christ, looks a different player. But again, it flips it into Thomas Asante, who wins the header. I think Ernie Weaver's caught underneath the ball and perhaps is expecting somebody to be covering him behind him. Where Iorfa, Ingleson, Palmer are off to during that goal, I haven't got a fucking clue. Because they are basically, when I think it's Bobby Thomas again, when he wins the header, free header, they're practically on the edge of the box.
I think it's half time, isn't it? They're going for oranges at half time, I think, down the tunnel.
Really, genuinely worrying. But again, it's offside and it's going wide, but it's a very inventive corner. Like, again, it's a poor decision. That officiating team have had 2 poor days in Yorkshire this week. I'm sure there's no love lost if they were to be put in for the Steel City derby. Can you imagine the car crash and the calamity that would be there for that? But it's poor, but again, the corner creates an awful lot of spaces. We're pulled all over. And I think that is my concern. Again, it was my concern last season, concern the season before. We cannot defend set pieces, and teams know any type of variation other than just a ball into the box. We can't handle it.
Matt said, I hope Ingleson and Palmer was off to check the banks to see if they'd been paid. That's where they were off to.
Nearly spat that over my laptop then. That was really nearly a very expensive joke, that.
Yeah, my camera's gone off. Well, your laptop might be giving up the ghost there. They might just have well been. Yeah, maybe they got told that we're paying you at 1:15, and they're like thinking, okay, it's 1:15. Let's have a look. Let's see if it is happening or not. We're going at half time, 3-0 down. I think I kind of expected some changes at half time. I thought the game's lost. Like for me, I was kind of thinking, let's just try some of these lads. I mean, what is the worst that's going to happen? I don't think, nobody's going to begrudge them if it's 5, 6, 7. I mean, in the end, it was 5 anyway. But we didn't make any changes at all. It did take them 68 minutes to get their 4th goal. I mean, I think it's the easiest goal that Ellis Sims is going to score. Actually, I don't know. Maybe they won last season against James Beadle. Yeah, was easier thinking about it.
I think that was probably slightly easier for him. He loves scoring at that end, doesn't he?
Oh, he does. Yeah. I mean, for me, when I've watched it back, there's a couple of errors in there. Yeah. I think. We are 70 minutes in now, nearly 3-0 down as well, unpaid. Let's just get all that out of the way for a second. But just purely from a footballing perspective, it's Sakamoto who picks it up on the right-hand side. Max Lowe has got him covered. It looks like it that way anyway. I think Harry Maas, in his eagerness to kind of do something and try and win the ball back, he kind of comes in to challenge Sakamoto, and that just makes it easy for, I think it's Hesler Hayden.
Yeah, Kessler Hayden, yeah.
Yeah, goes out on the right-hand side on the overlap, now unmarked, and it's an easy pass that he makes. Maas and Max Lowe kind of get in each other's way, and then, Hesler Hayden just puts in it's an easy job, and it's a good cross as well. Puts it in, across the box. And then you look, and then, it's Ellis Sims that just taps it in, open goal. It's a very, very easy finish. You would call it like a bit of a noob goal if you were playing FIFA, or EAFC as it's now called. But I looked at Liam Palmer as well, because I said there's a couple of mistakes. When the move starts, or like when the highlight starts, he's in a bit of a shit position. He's not goal side of Ellis Sims. So fair play. He actually does what you should do and what you always get told as a defender: get goal side of your man. And he does that. He gets in front of him. But then that then becomes the problem, because he gets in front of him. Ellis Sims intelligently just peels off him, creates that gap, that kind of couple of yards gap in between Palmer and himself, which means that when the ball comes across, you've got that time that as it goes past Palmer, you're there, you can meet the ball and you can put it in the net. Palmer he doesn't know what to do, does he? It comes across, he can get there if he wants to, but he just thinks, well, it's going to be an own goal. I would probably have preferred him to try and at least get there. At 3-0 down, it doesn't really matter if you score an own goal at that point. It might look shit on himself, but if he doesn't touch it, well, he didn't touch it, and look what happened. It went in the back of the net. So I think it was a really slick goal when you look at it.
Yeah.
Out wide, even wider, square it across. You've got a man there. Bang, goal, 4-0.
Yeah, the minute a striker can see a defender's number, you are bang in trouble. Because you're right, Liam Palmer is not the right side to begin with. He works back. I suppose what you would get from, I was going to say, it's not the experience. I suppose it's from a more natural central defensive, like a centre-back rather than a right-back, is actually they probably just make sure that they're holding them. So like their arms up. Their arms up, they're touch tight. But actually you're right, it's very clever forward play from Ellis Sims. It's really easy. It's really easy, because all he does is just let him go and just thinks, where the fuck are you off to? I'll just keep making this run to the back post, because that's the only place he can hit this.
Well, the only time where this works is when you're outside the width of the goal. If you're wider than the goal and you're as a striker, it's more difficult to then get the ball back to where it's come from to score.
Yeah.
When you're in the centre of the goal, I'm not being funny, you literally just have to touch it, and he does, and he just side foots it in. It's like I mentioned, one of the simplest goals that he's ever going to score. Again, this comes when the game's 3-0. And there's literally 20 minutes to go. It doesn't.
No, it does. It's not going to. It's all done by the crying. But it's one of those, James, where I'm with you. You've got to get something on it. You have to get something. You haven't got a visual on the player who you were marking not half a second ago. You have to get something on it. Even if it just goes back where it came from, anything.
Slight touch on it just to put him off or anything.
Anything. Literally anything. And that was, again, it was, I suppose, it's not a physical error, it's more a mental error from a player who is overworked and overtired and played 3 games in the space of a week. That it's just, because you can see there's a freeze, as the ball goes past in front of Palmer, if you literally freeze it as the ball is in front of him, he's not actually looking at the ball, he's looking to his left, because he recognises, oh shit, he's at the back stick. And again, very slick move, no complaints.
Yeah, well, we've done all 4, and we might as well do the 5th. Why not? Let's have the full complement, you know what I mean? It didn't finish 4-0. People listening going, where's the 5th goal? Well, it's here. It comes 7 minutes after. Everyone's left by this point, pretty much. It's a mass exodus when that 4th goal went in. You hear the clang of all the seats, those that were still left at that point, obviously. It's a free kick from deep. It hits, I think it's Weaver, He's unlucky. He's just tried to get something on it and clear it. Sakamoto does not need a second invitation to absolutely lash the ball home into the right-hand side of the goal. Horvath, again, as much as he's had a half-decent game, and I do agree, you conceded 5 goals and probably say the man of the match in that one. But he ain't going to do anything to save that one. And again, it comes back to a team that is banging form. And I think when I spoke to the Coventry fan in midweek and did the preview show, which if you want to listen to preview shows, you can head over to Patreon and you can get all of those. When I talked to him, he was actually saying that Sakamoto is being a bit, he's not been on form this season. But when you're playing in a side that's scoring, 22 goals, and well, at this point it was 26 goals.
Yep.
Yeah, like you've hit it, and it's just going to go, and it's just going to have a lot of net on the back of it, on the back of it, And I think when you look at some of the chances that we had, I think Ike Ugbo had one late on. I think there was one that was it Liam Palmer or Jan Valley that had in the first half. You look at the chances we're having, and that is very akin to a team that is bang out of form. You can just see the two differences there. It's Sakamoto smashes it. Horvath had nothing, couldn't do anything about it.
I think this is something that is becoming a slight worry for me. However, just looking at it from a footballing perspective, is we've seen 2 almost second contact goals in a week. I'd describe it as second contact. The Damari Gray one, we win all of the headers, but there's actually nobody there to put the pressure on for the person who's on the knockdown. Because again, at the minute, we do seem to have a lot of players, and I suppose this is, you could argue this is the trade-off from playing Jan Valery in a defensive midfielder role, in terms of central midfielders. I think naturally their position is to hang out on the edge of the box and stay with their runners. We saw with Damari Gray, the closest player to him is Max Lowe, who was, just in the swell of it, just ends up near him. With this, Ernie Weaver wins the first contact. It's a really good header. It's out. It's down. Jamal Lowe is on the edge of the area, who is, again, not for one to try in. He's tried to win the first header. The ball's gone over him. By the time he's turned and span round, Sakamoto's 2 yards off him and already pulling the trigger on the shot. I think, and this might, I'm talking out my arse here, James. What the fuck do I know about tactical analysis with football? I look at it.
Hey, Football Manager 26 in a few weeks' time. You need to brush up on your skills, Matt.
Me personally, James, I would much rather we've got genuinely with Dominic Iorfa and Ernie Weaver there, as we saw away at Portsmouth. We've got 2 defenders who don't mind putting their head on the ball. In fact, they'd much prefer that than the ball at their feet. So shall I tell you what? Let them 2 fucking crack on and do what they're good at. Like, let them win the headers and the other players around them. Yeah, get in front of runners, stop them, put them off, etc. But make sure you are first to that second ball, because that second ball is costing us dearly over and over again this year. And it is something that, again, if you're a side who's coming to Hillsborough in particular, you have to look at that as that is a very viable way to score goals. Is second balls from us, is we don't win enough of them. And we haven't, you could make an argument that there's been 2 games where we have, and actually they've been 2 of our better performances in terms of Leicester and Portsmouth away, where we've won every second ball. Me and you spoke about it in an attacking sense with Bailey Kadamachi and centre midfielders pushing up to win the ball and then start an attack. It is becoming a problem, and it's been a problem for a while at Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, right. Let's read the 3-word match reviews out then. As always, you can get involved at WTID Pod is where you need to be, and look out for the tweet that comes usually minutes after full-time whistle has gone. Luke says it means nothing. Matt, fuck off Chansiri. Neil Dunn's gone with blame one man. Big Art Show, enough is enough. Dave Hush has gone with still above him. Yes, I did not have that on my
Wilder's got, what, 2 games left before they all start wanting him out?
Yeah, pretty much. It's that is the only one crumb of comfort that we have as Sheffield Wednesday fans, is that we are so shit and we are still not bottom of the league.
It's funny, isn't it? It's funny.
How that can be, I have no idea. I forgot that they were playing at lunchtime as well yesterday, and then I looked and it came out and like 1-0 Hull. Oh dear. Jason, painful to watch. Malcolm still above United. Nutty Almond, onwards and upwards. Des, and this is the worrying one, not bothered anymore. A lot of people made that decision quite a long time ago. Chris, player boycott needed. Carl, still not bottom. Another Chris, embarrassing but expected. Richard, need more protesters. South Yorkshire Isle goes with pitch invasion appreciated. We'll come on to that in a second. Actually, looking at it, we'll probably have to talk about that on extra time, to be honest, because I want to talk about the unpaid wages, Matt, and also, I mean, unpaid wages, it's just the norm, isn't it, really? Like, when it happens 5 times out of the last 7 months, it's actually more of a shock when they do get paid on time as to when they don't, which is just absolutely mental. But the thing for me is the fact that we're now hearing, and I think it was, I want to say it was Andy Giddins that released this, so I've got no reason not to actually believe that this is the case. The staff, so the non-footballing staff, those that work in the shop, those that work at the training ground, again, I don't know who it is, but that's who we're referring to when we say non-footballing staff. Matt, they're having to take loans out to just get by. Now, I heard that they were getting about £1,000, I think it was, of the wages. For them to actually have to take a loan out, and I'm guessing if they're taking a loan, they're probably trying to future-proof themselves for when this is happening, maybe next month or the month after. It's just mental, isn't it, Matt? Like, how has it even come to this point?
Well, you had mentioned, James, that it's 5 of the last 7 months. I'll contextualise it and say there have been, if we're going off monthly paydays, there have been 9 paydays this calendar year. Over half of those have been unpaid. I don't know many people who can survive or make 1 month's pay stretch to 2 consistently over the course of 10 months. Staff having to take loans out just to cover their day-to-day is disgraceful, and this is before we look at what's on the horizon of the most financially difficult and pressurising time of the year for most in Christmas. Those additional pressures of borrowing money that it puts on those families, those individuals, with no guarantee that there is an end in sight to it for them, and that when this is all be sorted, the club will do the right thing and provide them with restitution and make those whole and payments, is ridiculous. And again, we've used words like abhorrent, we've used words like disgusting. Me and you have sat on here and done full-scale, hour-long rants about the anger that there is towards this. This is now, you're looking at a number of those things that are going on and just thinking, when can this... Because presumably, James, let's say for argument's sake, a new owner comes in. A new owner may not come in until February, let's say. What's happening in the meantime for the payment of those? What's happening of those wages? Are we going through Christmas? Are we carrying on going? Are the club then going to provide that money that's not being paid to them? Is the new owner... Again, I mean this really nicely. Is the new owner going to do the right thing, which would be to obviously provide those wages, that back pay to staff? We don't know. And those, and that is somebody who is not in this situation. I genuinely cannot begin to imagine how difficult it is at the minute going in and dealing with the emotional and mental turmoil that this is putting on the people who he claims to care so deeply about.
Yeah, I mean, as well, it just shows you how skint he actually is. Because when you look at it, these people that he's not paid, again, I don't know how many staff there are at Sheffield Wednesday. I can't imagine there's that many when you think about it. Like, it's notoriously run as on a shoestring, on a skeleton staff. There's not many people in certain areas. I mean, when we're talking about that their wages, when you compare them to the footballers' wages, it is literally, it isn't comparable at all, is it? You're looking at, I mean, the minimum wage, I was looking at, it works out roughly around £24,000 a year, that is. Yeah. We're talking about footballers that get paid that a week. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So and obviously there's 20 odd footballers in the squad that we've got. When you look, they might be all right. I don't know. I have no idea how many staff there are that work there, 50, 60, whatever it may be. And I know wages in any business are the biggest outlay of any business. That is normally the salaries and stuff. But like these people, the monthly takings are nowhere near what the footballers are taking. Yet he cannot fulfil those responsibilities to actually pay them all in full on time. Again, I think they got £1,000 for the month, but again, they're having to, like, I suppose it's things like they'll eventually get paid, but then they're not going to use that money because they're going to think, fucking hell, I might not get paid on time.
Correct.
Next month as well, which looks like it didn't. Well, they did last time, but no, the one before and the one before that, and also it's not like, oh, sorry, something's gone wrong. You'll be sorted on. It should have been Monday. It's going to be Thursday. And then it gets to Thursday, and then it gets paid, and you go, all right, whatever. Like, in any other normal situation, you'd just accept that. It's just there was a bit of an issue, but it's all been resolved. He gives no assurances that this money will be sorted. The only assurance they get is probably get wind from the EFL that, like, oh, by the way, some money's going to tip up, and it's so they think, well, at least we're going to get paid on time this time around. There's no other assurances whatsoever, and I also think as well that the staff that work there, they're stuck between a rock and a hard place because, again, I don't know this for certain, but I would imagine most that work at the Sheffield Wednesday, either at the ground or at the training ground, are probably Wednesday fans. Like, let's be right, and they've probably worked there for quite a while. In some instances, love working there, get to meet their idols on a regular basis. The players that they sit in the stand and watch. They're there up close and personal, talking to them, getting to know them all, the managers, everyone. Like, it's just something that they've done for all their life. And they probably feel like they can't leave it either. It's not just a case of, let's get another job. Because then they would leave that job, get another one that they might also not like, and then in a couple of months' time or a year or however long, like, this situation will be resolved at some point, and then someone else will just come and take over that job that they did, and then they'll be thinking, well, I want to do that job that I was doing for however many years. It must be very, very difficult. Because I've thought about it myself, like, just get another job. But you can't just do that. And also, you're always thinking that the end is going to be here. And then we're hearing about kind of apparently staff coming out and saying that the boycotts, getting angry about the boycott because that's the reason why they're not getting paid. It's just everyone's so highly strung at the moment, and everyone's just firing off here, there, and everywhere because they feel that is the only option that they've got at the moment.
And I also, don't get me wrong, I don't necessarily agree with the sentiments from or the reports that there are certain staff feeling a particular way about the boycotts, because obviously we're all aware that it's one person who is to blame for this. The fans don't employ you, it's Sheffield Wednesday. However, I would say this. If your employer has said, oh, don't worry, when games start again, everything will be fine, and then you find that games have started and not everything is fine.
You mean that guy that's really truthful and really honest? That guy?
No, but it's... And again, James, as you say, I mean, also from unconfirmed reports and snippets and bits and pieces and information that you hear, staff are also being pressurised and made to feel uncomfortable if they've accessed help from certain avenues that are out there offering help. And as you go back to, it's easy to say just to leave and just to walk away. How do you do that when this has been your experience from your last employer? Like genuinely from a club that you have and a workplace that you've clearly developed an emotional tie. But I also don't think it's wrong to say here that a club that has emotionally manipulated you as a staff member, that we have. Like the staff who work in those places are there out of sheer unbridled loyalty to the role that they are doing and the role that they are playing in keeping this football club going. And they should be fucking applauded for doing so. They really should, because there are so many people. I myself hold my hands up and say, if this had gone on, there was a comment earlier from Liam, which I think really summarised it. I'll just bring it up here, which is 13 missed monthly payments under Chansiri. That's 10% of his tenure that he has failed to pay players and staff on time. This has become a regular occurrence. And do you know what people do when this becomes a regular occurrence? They get into your emotions and they get into your psyche to try and make you seem like this is fine and this is all normal and we're going to smooth it over for you. Why? Because that's the only fucking thing they've got, because they haven't got the money to pay you.
Yeah, it is just... it really annoys me that we find ourselves in this situation once again, and yeah, the bit about the loans just really, really got to me, because it's not easy to just get a loan. You know what I mean? That's adding more financial pressure on you as
James,
well.
Let me give an example here. You go to your bank that you have defaulted perhaps on your mortgage payments for the last 2 months running because you haven't had the money on time, and you go up to them and say, I need a loan. If you're the bank, are you going to give them it? It's heartbreaking. Terribly sorry what you're going through. Can't give you that. Or
well, if they do, Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be that 0% the credit card that you've seen online. Sorry, mate, you can't have that one, but I'll give you this 25%
Correct.
Credit card instead. With might give you a 3-month window, but after that, it's going to go. Do you know what I mean? That is the reality of the whole situation, and then you feel backed into a corner, and all of this. It's not because you've been stupid with your money or whatever, or you've overindulged or anything like that. It's because the guy who said he would pay you every month for the work that you've done hasn't done.
Correct.
And that is the reason why people are in this situation. I really hope that people aren't. Again, we're not privy to all this. We're just kind of surmising what may potentially happen, and I really hope that people aren't in that situation. I know there is help from this Sheffield Wednesday Supporters Trust as well, and if any people are listening to this, please go and use that. But that comes to another thing. We're also hearing that the club have got wind of this and bringing people in and having asking them why and things like that. Like, what the hell is all that about?
Because I will give you the reason why for anybody from the club who's listening and wondering why. Here's the reason why. Because you have promised to do something and you have failed repeatedly multiple times to do it, and you are seeing an organisation who is offering a hand and an olive branch out because they fucking care. That's why. That's why people are accessing it. That's because you've got a bunch of people who are as invested as those people who work at the football club, offering to help, offering to understand and lend an ear. That is why they are doing so, because they are one of the people who out there will ask for nothing back in return. The Sheffield Wednesday Supporters Trust are not a bank that are going to chuck in 25% extra on charge. They are not going to do all of that. They are going to say, what do you need? If we can help, we will do so. To say, and this is where, James, I start getting really, when a new owner comes in, people who are being forced, whether they're being forced or not, people who are having those conversations from a club perspective, no matter who it is. If I am a new owner, day one, you have been handed your P45, get out of here. I do not want people like that at my football club, because there is a high likelihood that those people who are being interrogated or doing the interrogating are also not being fucking paid. What good is coming from this situation for making people feel guilty for accessing something that they will already feel probably particularly crestfallen about going and having to do, asking for a handout when they have a job themselves? It is, honestly, James, again, I know we're getting close to time here. The more I go on for this, the more and more angry I'm going to get about it, because there is no way. Turn a fucking blind eye. You do it with the PA system at half-time. You do it when you're playing Coventry song after the game. You do it when Barney the Owl picks a scarf up. Turn a fucking blind eye to this. People are trying to save themselves and their family from financial ruin, man. Do yourselves a favour and give yourselves a good look for once.
Yeah, I totally agree. It just doesn't. It's going to achieve absolutely nothing. Like, what is it going to achieve?
Correct.
And these people are now like, they're already. I think we've spoken about this. People being proud and things, and not having to ask for help. Certainly when it comes to money, I think us Brits are very much like that. We're very much, people. It's like a taboo subject now. How much you're on. People don't ask how much people are earning. In other countries, they're quite happy to talk about it. Whereas over here, we don't really do that. And if people are struggling, again, people are very happy to struggle in silence and not ask for any help, even if it's from your friends or your family or loved ones or anything like that. So that help is out there, and people. I don't think many people have actually reached out and used it. I mean, now if this is what's happening. And this is what happens when you do actually get this help. And I don't know how it's even come to light. That's perhaps for another discussion. But the fact that all these people have actually had to try and use it, and then now are being, like I said, interrogated, whatever it may be, questioned on it. You shouldn't need to. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter to anyone that they've actually gone out, and that's what it's for. It's there to help people in these in these areas of needs. And also, if you think about it logically, if they're getting money from elsewhere, that means that actually they might feel better about themselves. It might take the weight off the shoulders, and they might actually turn up to work, and rather than shitting the pants and thinking, I don't know when I'm going to get paid, they might actually just be able to focus on doing the job that they're actually paid to do.
Correct. It is nobody's business, in particular the football club's business, as to whether somebody has a second job. You know, if you were working in the club shop and you took on a second job, they wouldn't bat a fucking eyelid.
Yeah.
But this, you're going and asking for help from an organisation that is actively trying to change ownership at the football club. That's all of a sudden a fucking problem. Yeah. What is the issue? Like, you don't, like, again, forgive me if I'm wrong. You don't care enough to ensure these people are... The paid on time is a different issue. I'm talking from an emotional standpoint. You haven't done enough to emotionally safeguard these people who are working for your football club, who are feeling that they have to turn to fellow Sheffield Wednesday fans to reach out for help. If I am in work, the first person, if there is an issue at work that I am talking to, is my immediate superiors, because they are the people who are designed and there to help me. They feel they can't turn to you, so they are going to other avenues to try and access support and help. That should be an immediate red flag to you as a person in charge of this to go, what the fuck am I doing wrong here? There's got to be, like, what am I doing? And we are now into the realms of morality. We're not just into the realms of finances. We are into the realms of morality here, of what is the right thing to do. Because if we are, what we are led to believe as fans, because of course it's Fort fucking Knox and you actually get no information out of it, nobody's being paid. Nobody, unless you're an asset that the chairman can sell you in January, nobody's being paid. So what good is any of this doing to anybody in the situation? Like, it's not.
And when you think about it as well, obviously Barry Bannon said that on the Open Goal podcast. He openly said, I think Piers Charles, Jan Valerie, and I think Josh
Max
Windass.
Lowe, Josh Windass, yeah.
We're all paid. And again, you look at that and think, fucking, they paid them and didn't pay me on time. Like,
of course you would. Bannon also said on the, again, for anybody who hasn't listened to his interview with the Wednesday Week, please do go and do so. He's also said that this was the first time where he had an option and the club had an option on his contract where it wasn't extended. I bet you I know why it wasn't extended, because the club wanted it on reduced terms rather than the money that he has rightfully earned as a legendary status of a player at this football club. They wanted him on reduced terms. I think that tells you everything you need to know about a man who came out and said, as long as Barry Bannon wants to be here, there will always be a contract for him. Well, now it seems, actually, the legend and the hero that everybody is so desperate for a statue to be built outside of him, the football club who he is playing for basically said to him, we want you here, but we want you here on a lot less money because we can't pay you.
Yep. Agreed. Right, we're going to wrap it up there. Massive thanks, everyone, for listening. As always, as we always do, we don't get through everything that we're going to get onto. That's why we have the episode that is called Extra Time as well. Usually it's talking about things that just totally not to do with the match at the weekend, but it has just turned into the Overspill show, as it now should be called, which is great for me because I don't have to think about anything else to talk about.
It used to be quizzes, it used to be all of this type of shit.
What's your best 11 loan players from 1999 to 2003?
We were literally doing that shit this time last year. We were going, let's put a championship 11 together.
Yeah, best foreign 11. Anyway, we're going to be talking about the pitch invasion, of course. We've got all our thoughts on that. Also about, it was going to be about what next. We've already found out what that next thing is going to be, a boycott for the Middlesbrough game, which we'll be discussing. Also, Bannon speaking out. That was the initial thing, was, what our thoughts on Bannon actually coming out now and doing, he's done Open Goal podcast, he's done Talk Sport, he's done an interview with Joe Cran, he's been on the Wednesday Week now as well. 4 things in a week that he's done, and clearly he's, had enough when it comes to all this, and he's clearly speaking out. We might get onto that as well, and also the interest in Ernie Weaver that he has garnered. But we'll see if we can get onto that. So maybe that might be something for next week in this international break. But we'll see. Let's see what happens on that one. If you do want to listen to that, patreon.com/WTID pod is where you need to go, and you'll find a link for that show. We're going to be on there in about 10 minutes time, so enough time for you to sign up and listen to what we have to say on all of that. Just to say again, thank you very much for listening, everyone. Thanks for getting in the comments as always, and we'll see you in about 10 minutes time. Cheers.